Okay. Hi everybody. My name is Shawna and I am 46 years old. And this is the story of how I went from New Age to Christianity. I definitely did not have much of a Christian background. Growing up, my mom believed in letting us decide for ourselves when we got older what religion or beliefs we would have. So I wasn't baptized. But I did go to church when I moved in with my aunt and uncle when I was 15 years old, and I learned about Catholicism. I had one-on-one lessons with the father there, and I learned all about the sacraments and so on. But by the end of it all, I wouldn't say I had any relationship with God or Jesus. I just didn't feel that for me. I actually even would go as far to say as I didn't even believe there was a hell or a devil or Satan or anything like that at that time. And then I had a boyfriend until I was 20 years old, and when he passed away in a car accident, I read life after death books, and all of those that I read didn't have, again, anything that anybody saw hell. It was all they went to the light. And then, to make a long story short, my whole life I had a lot of losses. Like, besides my boyfriend, I lost my mom in 2007. I lost a stillborn baby boy in 2009. And I think each time I had a different loss in my life, I kind of sunk into a deeper depth of despair, so-called. Also, throughout my life, I had a very, very low self-esteem, and I felt unworthy, and I never really felt good enough. Ultimately, though, throughout my life, I was on the search for love. I thought if I could find a man in the right relationship that would fill me, because I guess my teenage relationship was what I felt like the happiest I'd ever been in at that time. So I kept finding relationships, but also at the end of it would be very disappointed that it not only didn't work out, but I also wasn't happy. So I was just kind of getting more lonely and more bitter each time I had a failed relationship. And with that, I also would say I turned more and more to drinking. Alcohol made me feel less, I guess, numb to the pain that I was going through and facing all the time. I was also, I guess, nudged towards more and more new age things. Like, in my early 20s, I started yoga and was learning how to meditate, and I read lots of new age books, and I started seeing a psychic every year. And about 5-6 years ago, I started taking energy healing courses. I really wanted to heal the pain, and especially I had children to live life for, and all of these things did make me feel better for a while, but eventually it would kind of regress, or I'd take 2 steps back. I felt pretty helpless and hopeless, so I just have to find another new age thing or another course. All the time I was just chasing enlightenment, basically. I was just barely keeping my head above water as a single mom, and then, as everybody knows, 2020 COVID hits, and even though I had quit drinking and smoking for almost 2 years, I just went back into that because all of a sudden I had no purpose again because I wasn't working. By the end of summer, September 4th comes around, I was ready to go back to work, but I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And instantly I thought, step into high gear now. You really, really, really have to heal yourself emotionally. I obviously quit smoking and drinking. I became a vegan, so my diet was very, very healthy, and I was taking supplements, and I didn't want to do chemo because I thought that was very, it wasn't a holistic way of healing. So I called on all my new age friends to get some healing done, and basically almost 2.5 months into doing everything I possibly could, I woke up one morning, brought my kids to school, and when I got back to the house was by myself. I just felt completely overwhelmed that the cancer was growing, because I could visibly see it, and so everything I was doing was not working. And I went to my room and I flopped on my bed face down and just started bawling and crying, and just came to me to ask God for help. So I was like, God, please help me. And all I could think and hope for was that He would hear me. And in that moment, more than anything I could have ever imagined actually happened to me. I felt almost like this space opening up above me, being cleared between me and straight to God. It felt like this overwhelming like wave or stream of unconditional love just came over me and through me and around me, and I felt absolute unconditional love, and it felt like it was for the first time ever in my life that I was surrounded with that. I also kind of instantaneously felt this like shedding of an old me, but because all this unconditional love almost was like letting go of all this ugliness in my life or in me, and it was like burdens being washed away, and fears and anger and negativity, like a whole swarm. I don't know how to describe it. There's no words to describe it. I just felt cleansed. And for the first time, I just felt actually worthy and good enough as a human being altogether. And I got the sense that I was going to be all right, and I was, and always have been since that moment. It was on December 13th. Ever since that day, I mean, grateful and thankful is not enough to describe how surrendering to God that day was the best thing I could have ever done. It was the best thing I ever did, and I feel like I have had a second chance at life, and I feel pure like joy to be alive and happy to be alive, and there's like real reasons for me to be alive now. Yeah, I felt like I came out of a lifelong depression, and this dark cloud that was looming over me and had lifted, and I really felt like I wasn't alone anymore. I say that night, though, this is interesting, my whole beliefs, my whole life that there was no hell or no devil or anything like that, that night when I was trying to go to sleep, even though I felt peaceful all day, that night when I was trying to go to sleep, it was like these words and thoughts that weren't mine were being pushed on me. And I recognized it right away as, wow, there is evil in this world. There is something trying to pull me back down into that dark place that I was. And I just kept saying, I follow Jesus now. I follow Jesus now. And then it went away. Like, so amazing. That from the New Age was what I went to for help, was actually what was keeping me stuck and down. Oh, thank you, God. I am where I'm at now, and whew, yeah, best day ever. And what more can I say? all in all, my life just feels easier now, and anytime I ever start feeling low, I always turn to the words of God. I either pick up my Bible and read, or I listen to devotionals, daily devotional, something like that will help me out of my little pity party or whatever I'm going through. Anyways, last but not least, I guess I trust God completely that on my journey, that I will be okay, my children will be okay, and I see gifts from God almost, if not on a daily basis, very frequently, and I'm excited every day to see what He has in store for me. Thank you for listening.